So it seems like there's lawsuits going out left and right. Everybody and their mother is doing a lawsuit, apparently. But even though Alyssa Mercante is currently suing Smash JT, I feel like this lawsuit is even bigger than that. A former marathon director is suing Bungie and Sony and accusing management of basically purposely me tooing him to avoid having to do a $45 million payout to him.
Hi, I'm Lisa Broderick.
And I'm Jeremy Gans.
Have you been injured in an accident? Talk to us. We'll get you the money you deserve.
Now, I honestly can't wait to go over the details of this case because, like I said, man, it's absolutely insane what's happening out there. The amount of people that are getting sued left and right. I mean, gaming is imploding from within. It really is. And I just, part of me loves to see it, and part of me is like, wow, this is really extreme shit. Like, I would say that the Alyssa Mercante one makes absolutely no sense, obviously, but this one makes a little bit more sense, assuming if I understand the context correctly as to the reasoning he was let go. But I guess we're going to find out. So let's read this article, guys, from Phantom Pulse. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, one thing I will say quickly is that Bungie and Sony have been known for some absolute ridiculous things. Bungie has been accused of many things in the past, and so has Sony. To be honest with you, most of these AAA developers have been accused of something along those lines in the past when it comes to like Me Too or any kind of like bad workplace actions or anything like that. So it's not exactly very shocking. Former marathon director Chris Barrett filed a lawsuit against his former employers, Bungie, and its parent company, Sony, accusing him of cooking up a Me Too accusation in order to fire him and avoid paying a $45 million payout. Barrett announced in a lawsuit in a post to X, he wrote, "The past 9 months following my departure from Bungie have been very difficult and painful for me as I've had to endure rampant speculation, unfounded attacks on my reputation, and innuendo about what happened behind the scenes to cause me to be fired after 25 years of loyal service. I want to thank everyone who has been there for me. I've eagerly awaited the opportunity to get the truth out there and tell." Well, can I just say one thing quickly? Holy shit, man. 25 years for one company is insane. You don't really hear that too much anymore these days. That's more of like back in the day when people were factory workers for many years on end. And I'm sure that's still a thing today to some extent. But you don't really hear this, especially for a massive studio like Sony or even Bungie. 25 years of service. That is crazy. And then to be let go and fired at the end of it all, I mean, it's just wild to me. But anyway, let's continue. He's been eagerly waiting to tell his side of the story, and now is that time. Today, I filed a lawsuit against Sony and Bungie to hold them accountable for their conduct and the damage that has been done to my reputation and my career, he continued. Barrett concluded, "I am confident that the facts are on my side and look forward to clearing my name through the legal process. Because this is a pending legal matter, there is nothing else I could say about it at this time." So this is going to be a massive lawsuit. And I don't really know what the, what the ramifications of this lawsuit might be. I got to imagine that it's probably going to make companies think twice before they pull some fuck shit like that. Because even though we have to get, see if Sony's actually guilty of this, for all we know, he could be lying, right? This is why it's a beautiful thing, the due process, right? It's innocent until proven guilty. So we need to see exactly what the truth is when we get to discovery, and further on, if there is even a trial, which there probably is not going to be, there most likely will be a payout at some point. But still, we're going to see what happens and who's telling the truth. But Jason Schreier over at Bloomberg claimed back at August, and Jason Schreier is an absolute cuck, by the way. So anything he writes these days, I barely believe, because at the end of the day, he's proven to be an activist first over anything. So, well, anyway, let's continue. Claimed at the end of August that Barrett was terminated following an internal investigation in which at least 8 female employees raised complaints earlier this year that he had behaved inappropriately toward them. According to 8 people, including multiple women who reported Barrett, as well as other Bungie employees who were either involved in the investigation or spoke to the women involved. Schreier added the investigation found that Barrett called lower-level female employees attractive, asked them to play Truth or Dare, and made references to his wealth and power within the studio, suggesting that he could help advance their careers, according to 2 people familiar with the case. Barrett told Bloomberg at the time, "I feel that I have always conducted myself with integrity and been respectful and supportive of my colleagues, many of whom I consider my closest friends. I never understood my communications to be unwanted, and I would have never thought that they could possibly have made anyone feel uncomfortable. If anyone ever felt that way with their interaction with me, I am truly sorry." According to the Dean Takahashi at Venture Beat, who viewed Barrett's lawsuit, he's alleging that they fired him to avoid giving him a $45 million payment he said he was entitled to. That is insane, bro. $45 million for one fucking person is insanity. But anyway, that's besides the point. The lawsuit specifically claims that Bungie and Sony deliberately destroyed Barrett's reputation by falsely and publicly insinuating they had investigated Barrett and found he had engaged in sexual misconduct. Defendants did not care that none of it was true. They had blatant motivations for their brazen scheme. Now, is that so far-fetched? Not really, right? I can see a company like Sony and Bungie pulling some shit like this, especially when it comes to $45 million payment, right? That's not something small. Even for a company like Sony, nobody wants to just give away $45 million, right? That's like 1/4 of a AAA games budget, right? Just given to one person solely. So let's be real. That's not a small amount of money, and they would probably do anything they possibly can to try to avoid paying that. So it's not too shocking to think about something like this. But these are pretty much damning accusations, right? Even though it seems very light, like they're not really being very specific in what he said. I mean, truth or dare, whatever, like I need some more information than that. But anyway, it's very clear that they seem to be thinking that he was inappropriate with the female staff. And whether that's true or not, we're going to find out in Discovery. It also notes that Sony wanted to shift the blame for and deflect attention away from their massive business failures. And to achieve those corporate objectives, they were willing to sacrifice Barrett. And again, that seems a little conspiratorial, but I guess we'll find out. Sony and Bungie's business failures have become public knowledge, with Bungie CEO Pete Parsons announcing the company was eliminating nearly 30% of its workforce at the end of July. He wrote in a blog post, due to rising costs of development and industry shifts, as well as enduring economic conditions, it has become clear that we need to make substantial changes to our cost structure and focus development efforts entirely on Destiny and Marathon. That means beginning today, 220 of our roles will be eliminated, representing roughly 17% of our studio's workforce. He later revealed that the company was integrating 155 employees, or roughly 12% of its workforce, into parent company Sony. We are deepening our integration with Sony Interactive Entertainment, working to integrate 155 of our roles, roughly 12%, into SIE over the next few quarters. So Bungie's been getting cooked lately. And again, I don't play Destiny, right? I know a lot of people know Bungie because of Destiny. I don't play Destiny anymore. I played Destiny 1 way back and I was super addicted to it. And then Destiny 2, I just didn't give a fuck, don't care. So I know a lot of people are probably like that. And I'm sure that Destiny still has a pretty healthy player base. I'm sure of that. But whether or not it's healthy enough, probably not, considering that they're letting go of so many people. It's pretty obvious they're not making the amount of money that they wish they were making or should be making. Then Parsons also shared that an incubation project was also going to be spun off into its own studio. We are working with PlayStation Studios leadership to spin out one of our incubation projects, and actually gave set in a brand new science fantasy universe to form a new studio within PlayStation Studios to continue its promising development. So ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to find out what's going to happen from this lawsuit. I think it's pretty wild. I think it has amazing timing, considering that Alyssa Mercante is also suing Smash JT. But time is going to tell what's going to happen from both of these lawsuits, and I cannot wait to see either result. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it if you could like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.